If all of your friends jumped off of a cliff, would you? I obviously would, and so would Turkish sheep. According to BBC News, in 2005, one sheep in a small village jumped off a cliff, only to be followed by the entire flock of 400 more, because who wants to miss out on all that fun? And unless you've been living under a rock, you may have heard of FOMO, defined by Webster's Dictionary as yes, it's in Webster's Dictionary. This ever-present anxiety has been supercharged by oversaturated content on social media, manufacturing modern society's obsession with having access to everything, everywhere, all at once. As usual, social media is amplifying and reflecting deeper societal patterns. Our obsession with exclusivity, our need to consume, and what happens when we don't measure up. And that's my concern today. So first, let's double tap on fear by examining the psychology of FOMO. Then, comment on the algorithms of overconsumption before finally curating some solutions to ending this cycle. We're gonna jump off of this FOMO cliff together, because if we don't, we will always be missing out. As an awkward middle schooler, I loved watching relatable influencers to imagine what my life could be like Emma Chamberlain, a normal teen girl doing normal teen things, like opening a boutique coffee shop and interviewing celebrities at the Met Gala. Me and my fellow impressionable teenagers couldn't help but feel left out of this lifestyle that was right at our fingertips, yet utterly unattainable. Psychiatrist Mayank Gupta relates self-determination theory as a crucial concept to understanding why we all feel FOMO. Humans have basic psychological needs, including the need for social connection. Self-determination theory suggests that unmet social needs can result in negative emotional states, driving that well-known FOMO anxiety that we all know and feel. So, turns out that funny feeling after all that Friday night doom scrolling actually does have a deeper psychological reasoning behind it. FOMO has two key aspects: the perception of missing out, followed by a compulsive behavior to maintain social connections, especially on social media. Individuals seek approval on social media platforms to satisfy basic human needs for acceptance, and these digital interactions serve as indicators of approval. Online platforms also encourage comparison, leading people like you and me to evaluate ourselves against each other's idealized online portrayals, which often creates an unnecessary sense of envy. Even worse, comparison can lead to false feelings of superiority when viewing the profile of someone deemed as less successful online. Cognitive biases exacerbate these behaviors. The availability heuristic is a mental shortcut where we rely on examples that come quickly to mind when making decisions or judgments. It causes people online to believe that content with higher engagement is more valuable simply because of its visibility. Coupled with social proof bias, the tendency to follow the beliefs of the majority, these biases create an immense pull to conform towards popular trends because of the belief that high engagement signifies worth. Thorstein Veblen is the name of an economist, not an influencer, but he coined the influential term conspicuous consumption, which refers to the acquisition of luxury goods and services as a public display of one's economic power. You probably know conspicuous consumption by another name: status symbols. In a society painstakingly classified by wealth, the leisure class sought to differentiate themselves from the lower classes through their consumption habits and to signify their prestige in the social hierarchy. In modern day, the most prominent example of conspicuous consumption is with Hermès Birkin bags. In order to get a Birkin, you have to be offered one by a sales associate. And for that, you have to look like you already own 5. And even Emily Gilmore wasn't good enough. These bags aren't that much different from any other designer brand, or honestly, from some cheap fake sold on the sidewalk. But by wearing this bag, these celebrities suddenly become an idealized version of themselves, and therefore convince their followers that they are deprived of something essential without it. Status and power are closely linked, and these feelings of power influence a consumer's desire for exclusivity. Gravitating towards scarce items sets them apart from most people, giving them a false sense of importance. Power and exclusivity reinforce the pursuit of personal desires. Even in the online world, where information and items are more accessible than ever before, the digital economy presents new methods to manufacture scarcity. Harvard Business Review explains how non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, which are unique digital assets, provide a means for brands to establish ownership online. Sure, you may not see buying a 5-figure digital monkey cartoon as a status symbol, unless the status is being the most gullible person in the room, a category which apparently include Bored Ape enthusiasts Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton. By linking NFTs to digital products, brands can create a sense of rarity and exclusivity in a world that's meant to be accessible. On top of this, FOMO has a significant link to overconsumption. Companies exploit consumers' anxious emotions for profit by creating scarcity cues that generate a false sense of urgency. Trends are constantly changing on social media with new must-have items, and this creates a negative feedback loop where the average consumer feels instant gratification after purchasing unnecessary items. The Guardian explains how overconsumption, a fast fashion, discounted flights, and Black Friday gadgets, to name a few, are the primary drivers of ecological crisis. We are devouring the planet's resources at a rate 1.7 times faster than it can regenerate. The US population has increased by 60% since 1970, yet consumer spending is up by 400%. The environmental costs of overconsumption are clear, but there's also extreme environmental harm when brands feel the need to be exclusive. They artificially manufacture scarcity by destroying goods for profit. Even worse, US law provides extra incentives for companies to do this. Author Srini Habar explains in a Medium article how in the United States, companies can reclaim up to 99% of import taxes by destroying unsold goods under customs supervision, which makes this waste financially smart. At this rate, future generations will get FOMO about walking their dogs in a park. But even despite the environmental damage it causes, FOMO doesn't just drive our harmful habits, it's also ingrained into our internal experiences. For the average high school senior, FOMO causes us to wonder what if. I've known I've wanted to be a doctor ever since I was a little kid, yet the thrill of a debate round has pushed me to wonder, what if I would be happier at law school? I can question every decision made throughout my entire life, starting at the very beginning. What if my parents never left Nepal? They often tell me stories about their life before immigrating, and while I am forever grateful for their sacrifices to be here, identity FOMO often makes me feel like a fraud with who I really am. Waking up to notifications from my WhatsApp family group chat of my entire family celebrating my cousin's birthday makes me feel like I'm missing out on the Nepali side of my life and this world that my cousins live in. While they get authentic chai made with my grandma's special touch, I'm stuck with diluted chai tea lattes made by an angry Starbucks worker. It's as if, no matter where I am, I'm always missing out. And FOMO isn't just about wanting to be everywhere at once. It's about the constant fear that no matter where you are, you're always leaving something behind. But there's no need to fear, because there are concrete actions we can take to climb up and get past this FOMO cliff. The first step towards addressing FOMO in everyday life is to just accept it. We can't change who we are or every aspect of our lives, and we will always miss out on one opportunity for another. Embracing an acceptance mentality is crucial to not allowing FOMO to take over, and instead allows us to not miss out on what's actually right in front of us. And this goes right along with social media. Taking occasional breaks and understanding the curated nature of online content is crucial to developing a healthy relationship with using social media. And then next, with overconsumption. Only by recognizing the fleeting nature of satisfaction from purchasing unnecessary items can individuals start to make more conscious choices. A research project by Montana State University created a framework that can help with this. By taking approaches such as setting limits and cultivating awareness, individuals can become more mindful and sustainable. But the problem extends way beyond individuals. Regarding marketing, companies should seek to promote product longevity and quality over quantity. However, we cannot forget that these brands and companies work in a system designed to prioritize profit over humanity. Legislators and everyday people have to keep them accountable by taking actions such as closing the tax loophole that allows these companies to destroy goods for profit. Only once we stop falling for these FOMO marketing tactics will these companies have any incentive to change. And while we can't make FOMO illegal, as nice as that would be, these are some actions we can take to not allow FOMO to take over our lives. And we need to make sure to think for ourselves so that we don't end up dead on the bottom of a cliff like those 400 Turkish sheep. Thank you.